Oh, now take him out.
Good boy.
That's better. So all I did there was the same bubble game I just did with you. Is kind of like I've asked you to stop, and you're still
edging in.
So okay, then the consequence is now going to be harder.
Right.
I'm going to push you back and get back into position.
Yeah.
And you saw him kind of go back and kind of go. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he almost lined himself back up in the back.
So it's a bit. You're kind of gauging how much of a no does he need. All the time he's like in your space like that. Yeah. He's kind of trying to kind of get a reaction.
He's lining me up to nip me. I know that's what he's.
So I wouldn't even allow him close.
Right. Okay.
I was like, the more you keep doing it. We're going to stand there. That's going to be the distance you've got. So it's kind of, if you want close to me, you've got to be nice and calm. The more kind of you're trying to fiddle to try and get a reaction out of me, it's kind of like, don't. And in fact, you're going to get 6 inches further back.
Okay.
10 inches further back. So that now he's got that space. If he then decides to make a mistake and come into you to start to fiddle.
I've got room now, flicking back out.
But I wouldn't flick. Because with the geldings and with a boy, the more fiddling around their head, you're almost inviting the reflex of nipping. So you're much better off with a short, sharp get back and then completely disengage. The more you kind of fiddle here, the more it's kind of inviting. And it becomes a kind of like tug of war, like the geldings nipping each other in the field. So when you're in there and he's doing it to you, I would push him off and like not flicking at his head with the rope. Yeah. And when you're out of his little zone, when you're out of his head zone, it's kind of the reflex isn't even happening. Because when you're in that close, it's kind of, well, is it him trying to wind the situation up? Yes. But then once it starts, it's kind of like, well, just him being in that close. And you see that when he's kind of further away, he's kind of, I can't get to you. And you push him back to where he was. And you can see, because I'm not interfering with his head, you're not getting the kind of squaring up thing. So,
that's good. Thank you.
That's right. Now, just walk him back in once more. Just like pretend, just pretend he's not even there. Just walk in. Go. Swinging him around. Get him to stand. Now you're going to stand over here. You stand over there. And he's not allowed to move.
No,
so think, rather than think at his head, think at his shoulder. There you go.
Good boy.
So you can see, now he's back in position, now you turn and walk away. And then reel him in as he comes down. Keep going. Good. Actually, that stop on the ramp, that was him maintaining the distance that you'd set right from the beginning. So he's prepared to stop halfway up the ramp to kind of keep it. So you can see, even though it's the big temper and that's the big scary thing, because it's everything else, if it's his, like all of this behaviour, like right from day one, you can see it's all about him thinking he's got the feet control, and actually, in the absence of any training, his feet control, the zone he's got it is huge, because he can start mucking around out here. So you've kind of undone all of that. when he's then in there, that final thing of the temper is somehow I've got to school him when I can't reach him. I'm not trying to do it to kind of panic him, but it's a short, sharp bang on the partition so that he doesn't know I've done it because he can't see it. It's a kind of equivalent of how can I do a dually thing when I'm not attached to the dually. The more you stamp the floor, bang. And if you stop, it stops. And you can see that it's a no for this temper. The tricky thing is the timing but you did it really well in there because you got him out when he was...
He was still quiet, but and that's what I tried to do, but I put him in there and he stood there quietly for only about a minute and then it started and then of course I've got to quickly get him out.
I would...
And now I know that.
If it was a horse that was frightened of being shut in, and his adrenaline is coming up, so there is a little bit of about it, but we've undone that, or you've undone that by showing him the partitions slowly close, then they slow. So it's not that he doesn't understand how to get out of that.
No, and the other thing as well, I thought if he was genuinely afraid of it, focus him there, as soon as I open that partition,
he
would come tearing out.
So you can see
He's never done that.
His behaviour out here, it's now concertinaed down to the window of opportunity when you're standing next to him in an open box or when you shut the partition. So you have to think about a way of being able to say no to it in a way that makes sense to him. And it's just, it is that bang on the partition. Some horses I try to kick, I kick the floor, but it's a short, sharp, just to kind of and then it stops, and then you kind of wait for a beat. So it's the equivalent of horses that are confident in the trailer that just dance all over the trailer as you're driving. The tendency is people start to slow down, whereas I would slip the clutch. To kind of, but with the concept, it's not if they're panicking and scared, but if they're like that behaviour as you're travelling and the whole lot start, the tendency is you want to slow down because you're thinking crap. Whereas I would just slip the clutch because it kind of, it's like the more I muck around, I got to think about my balance.
Sort myself out.
Ruined your clutch, but it's the equivalent of the dually. I can't get to you. You can't rock this thing around anymore. If I just slip it and take you a little bit by surprise, and all the time you're standing nicely and you're not shoveling the box around, I'll drive as smooth as I could possibly do it. So you can see with him, he's got the reason why he pulls back sharply with a lot of pressure is he's really sensitive to the bubble. So you can see if I can stop him like that, with just a lift of the shoulder, you can see that a big flick towards his head is kind of
too much.
Way too much. So if I start off small and then get bigger if I get in here, don't move. Don't move. He's like, really?
He's not sure now.
Wow.
So it's like the game, in fact the same game as we played with you, is if I give you a lot of room over here, and then turn, you come and find me. But if I tell you to stop, stop. So if it takes me that amount to stop him, in theory, if I keep that, get his attention. It needs a bit more going backwards.
Which is surprising because, my God, can this horse go backwards?
There we go.
Mouthing a little bit as well now. Chris, that's unreal.
I'm glad I got it on film.
Wait. Where I usually fall flat on my face. Wait. I know what you're about to do. Now work it out. Now work it out. Go on. Yeah, good boy. Almost. Good boy.